Dudes to Dads, brought to you by Dad University, is a podcast to help men understand and navigate the transition of being a single dude into a family man. How do we make sense of it all? Well, we probably won't be able to, but let's go ahead and have some fun trying. And we are back. I'm Jason Kreidman.
I'm Alan Bush.
And this is Dudes to Dads, episode 176.
Yeah.
With authority. How are you, Alan?
I'm doing well, thanks. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I just had to sit up straight in my chair.
Yeah.
Get excited. I'm reducing my caffeine intake these days.
Yeah, I remember we were talking about that before. Is that working out for you?
No.
Still withdrawing?
No, so I took 2 weeks off. Mm-hmm. I guess we could do a whole episode about it.
Caffeine.
I took 2 weeks off, and then I'm slowly weaning back on, not as much as I was in the mornings just for my workout so far.
Okay.
So before I was doing once in a while also in the afternoons or evenings when I record and that kind of stuff. And so I'm going to see how long that goes. Talk to me next week, and I might be
back on full swing.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I definitely went through a withdrawal. I got all that, and we just kind of wanted to reset.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, I've tried it a couple times. I don't do a lot of caffeine, but I do have at least one.
But when I do,
I drink Dos Equis. I basically 1 cup in the morning, and then the rest of the day usually is tea,
but it's still caffeine.
Or water. But it's still caffeine in the morning,
right.
And tea has caffeine. Yeah, green tea has caffeine, but way less.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, today's topic, not related to caffeine at all, which is something that we usually talk about off.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny how many different topics. We used to play those outtakes.
Yeah. It just took too much time.
I know. Today's topic, paternity leave. Why are so many men not taking it?
It's interesting, especially working in corporate environments or business in general. And, I'm seeing that more frequently. I don't know if we're going to get to this, but the owners of the company that I'm with now, both had kids almost around, like about a year apart from each other, but both had 2 kids. And there's a paternity leave clause now, of course. And they took, the time to do that, which is great. But I feel like it's a relatively new thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember being around when I was a lot younger.
Yeah. Well, so for years, since a long time, women had maternity leave.
Sure.
Not everybody, and certainly every corporation's different and stuff. But one of the things that for a long time too, and they still are, is that women were concerned that taking time off in having a baby could negatively affect their career.
Yeah.
Because they can, and there's a couple things. Would the perception of them at the company change? Mm-hmm. Would somebody think that something's different about them in whatever way, motivation, whatever, loyalty, or maybe they think that there'd be too much of an impact on the company, because if they leave, other people have to take over the work, or they have to hire someone, or there's costs or whatever. So there's a new problem emerging though with that. And it's that companies are now offering it to men, and it's called paternity leave, and they're not taking it. A lot of them are not taking it. And so first, I kind of want to just discuss paternity in general, kind of what it is, and then we'll get into sort of what's happening and why they're not taking it. So basically, paternity, it's a period of time when a father stops working because he's either they're going to have a baby or he just had a baby. Mm-hmm. So it also, in many instances, covers adoption as well. So when you adopt a child, that's considered the same, it's the same thing. Yeah. So, companies are now using multiple terms. We have paternity leave, which is for men, maternity leave, which is for women, but they're now calling it parental leave, or family leave is another word. Yeah. And it covers mothers, fathers, domestic partners. Okay. So, they don't want to leave anyone out. Yeah. In the US, there's a federal law, and I remember hearing about this law back when I worked for a company. I actually did at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
It's when we met.
You used to, exactly.
It's called the Family and Medical Leave Act. And that protects your job for 12 weeks after a birth or adoption.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But it's not for everybody.
Right.
So, it is a law, and for certain corporations that fall in line in that, it covers them.
Okay.
So But there's a website, diversitydatakids.org, and they said that 38% of the workforce can benefit from that. So it's not a huge number, but it is significant.
What's the criterion to benefit from that?
I think it's like company size.
Okay.
Company size, and then the company's just policy. There's
they can adopt it because they feel like it.
I think there are some requirements that obviously whether it is size or whatever that could be ratio. I don't know. I probably can look into that a little further.
Sure.
But it doesn't mean if you do qualify, it doesn't mean that your employer will pay you during that time.
Right.
It just means you have the right to take it off.
Yeah. So your job is protected.
Your job's protected. Your position's protected. But it doesn't mean they have to pay you.
Right.
So that's just an individual policy that you're going to have to look at. So, but recently, and what brought this topic up is I saw some things on the news. There's been a little bit more chatter in the news about these topics of parental and family leave. I got this interesting statistic too. Out of 185 countries surveyed by the United Nations, the U.S. was only one of two that did not mandate paid maternity leave. Can you believe that? And the other country was like New Guinea.
Yeah.
Something like that.
A lot obscure.
185 countries, and the U.S. is the only one that doesn't require paid maternity leave. Wow. I thought that was incredible.
Yeah.
So just a couple of weeks ago, there was a Senate panel hearing on this topic. And so they're trying, of course, Democrats, Republicans are sort of trying to be a little bit closer, I dare say, and trying to come together to make something like this happen where they're going to require that, people do get more time off and whether that's paid or not. So there's a lot of stuff actually that finally has come to fruition in the government where they're talking about it. And then a lot of companies recently have changed their policies too to offer more time off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as an example, I looked up a couple. Facebook has 4 months of paid parental leave. So male or female. You get 4 months and it's paid if you want to take it off.
Wow.
American Express, 5 months.
Wow.
And these are kind of ones leading the way.
Yeah.
A little bit. But the one that takes the cake is Netflix. Netflix offers up to 1 year of paid parental leave.
Wow.
They basically, what I understood is they basically say, hey, during this first year, take as much time as you want.
Wow.
Whatever you need. And that's incredible.
Yeah,
and that's either, of course it's from the top, somebody focusing on family and the idea of how important it is.
For sure. Yeah.
Every employer is going to be different. So make sure that you check with your employer to see like what the paternity policy is. And some depends, like may just say maternity, like the man may not have any.
Right.
They're trying to change that. And it, of course, every family situation is different as well.
Sure.
But what's happening with men, and there was this survey by Deloitte, 57% of the men that they surveyed, I think there was like 1,000 in the survey or something, felt that exercising their parental leave rights would be perceived as a lack of commitment to their jobs.
Yeah.
So very similar to the women.
Right.
Felt like, okay, hey, wait a second. If I take this time off, they're going to think that I don't care about my job.
Yeah.
So that sucks.
Yeah.
That's,
Do you think it's the corporations that are breeding that culture, or it's just kind of this?
So here's what we're going to say.
Gotcha.
That's their feeling.
Yeah.
There's another study. I want to put some data in our, we don't always get data. Most of it just comes out of my intestinal tract. So I actually got some data.
Okay, great.
There was a study by Promundo, which is an organization, I believe they were out of Brazil, and they help
For the mundo, for the world.
Yes, they do help, but they help men and boys and abuse and things like that around the world. And they did it with Dove Men Care, great product, great products, I should say. That 21% of male respondents stated that they were afraid of losing their jobs if they took the full amount of parental or paternity leave offered. So you go from one saying, well, there's a lack of commitment, which is 57% in this survey. Then you go even further saying 21% feel like they'll actually just completely lose their job.
Jeez.
So here's the good news, though, is that is only perception and not reality.
Huh.
So It's just not, that's not what's happening.
It's not, people aren't getting canned.
People are not getting canned. The percentages are really high. Those who are offering it because they want you to use it, because they believe in it.
Good.
That's for the most part. Now, there's certainly organizations that are doing it because they either feel like they have to or whatnot.
For sure.
But then you don't need to work for those organizations.
Yeah, exactly.
2012, U.S. Department of Labor. Look at me with all these stats. I love this stuff. People are always like, oh, where are you getting that data? You got to back it up. Well, now I'm backing it up. So they had this, the U.S. Department of Labor created this brief, and I actually read it, and they discussed how important paternity leave is so that fathers actually take the time. Of course, it's important to the mothers, but now finally people, at least in 2012, they started studying how important it is for men to do it.
Sure.
So they came up with results, or their insights, they called them, and they said that it definitely promoted parent-child bonding, no question. It improved father engagement, because it's actually like building an initial foundation, and it even increased the gender equity at home and at the workplace. So in other words, or what that gender equity piece means is that when dads are more involved at birth, it does help the child. Sure. For sure. But it also helps improve employment equality and pay for the moms. Because the dads are essentially doing the same thing. Yeah. And so I think it helps the perception. If somebody does have a negative perception, it helps the perception of the women.
So equalizing it. Yeah, yes. Yeah. That's interesting. And it's funny because we're still combating kind of these old school mentalities where there's like, the dad goes to work, mom stays home, and the guy brings home the bacon, and mom cooks it. Yeah. And I mean, obviously that's not the case on most cases now, or at least, a good chunk of them.
Yeah. And they're also finding for businesses that it's actually really good for the bottom line. That, when fathers are taking off, and they're more involved with their families, they report that they're happier, more productive, focused. Yeah. And that's good for business. Yep. And also, having a good paternity leave can also attract and retain really good employees too.
Yeah, for sure.
And so they're just saying, there's a lot of things that they cite. It's stability. There's all kinds of things that happen when a man has an opportunity to, I should say, have those bonding moments, be part of his family, be involved with his family, he's going to be more likely to feel good about himself, which then translates into the workplace. So that's something I think was where they were trying to go with that. It's right. It helps build him up and feel good and such. Yeah. So the bottom line, that's because everyone likes getting to the bottom line. Nobody on their deathbed ever said they should have spent more time at the office. Right. Nobody said that. Right. So if your company has a paid paternity leave policy, Dudes to Dads is saying use it to the max. That's our stance.
That's our motto.
That is our stance. We are firm. Use it if you got it. Yeah. If your company doesn't provide paid time off for paternity, then see if you can use vacation days or just take some non-paid days off. Yeah. If you can afford to do so on the non-paid days. But I can tell you, using vacation days, it's going to be a lot more memorable to be there for the birth of your child than your cruise to Hawaii.
Right. Yeah.
The pictures, everything. You can do the cruise later. Yeah. Those vacation days, if you can take it off. Yeah. So I think it's cool. If none of those are an option, you can't afford to take the days, you're not offered days, whatever. So then it's really just about making your best effort to spend time, your off time with your child.
Yeah, maybe don't work so long hours, going a little later if you can shorten your hours maybe.
Those are all options. You want to look at it and say, okay, what can I do to spend the time? Yeah. And it's a magical time when your child is introduced to the world. It's just an incredible time. It's chaotic. I'm not saying it's chaotic. It's tiring. It's all those other things. But when you have an opportunity to look back, it's incredible. And of course, sometimes you don't know it when you're going through it. For sure. But and everyone says, "Oh, the time goes by so fast." I can tell you, it does. Yeah. I look right now, and I literally blinked. My children are 8 and 10 now. Yeah. It's like we were just talking we were in an office and my son came in and he was 2 or 3 years old.
Yeah.
Or born. No, he was born, I think.
Well, there was, I think I remember.
No, he was just born.
Yeah. He had, No, I think he was about 2 or 3.
Oh, maybe you're right.
He had the
I'm looking at thinking of
Bud Lightyear, the Buzz Lightyear thing.
You're right.
Yeah.
He was 2 or 3.
Yeah. But your daughter wasn't
You're
born
right, because I was a consultant when I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Your daughter wasn't born yet, though.
No.
Yeah. You had 1 kid at that time.
Yeah, and I mean, think about it now. Okay,
now we're talking to him on the podcast.
Ago. Right. I know.
Both of them have been on the podcast.
So yeah, it goes by really fast. So if you have that opportunity to spend the time, it is really magical. It's worth it to make that investment. Because you're not going to get that time back.
Right.
So you can always go work. You can always go on vacation. So.
Right, exactly.
So anything else?
No, that was great. I like that. I mean, that's a really good topic because I think it's really apparent for a lot of people that are in the workforce that they need to be doing these things. And I've seen that too. Like people don't take it. I'm like, you need to go take that, man. Like that's their time with your little one. He's going to get used to it. But
that's what's interesting. It's like the reasons why they're not taking it.
Yeah.
They feel like either there's something negative about it. They're going to be perceived negatively, or they feel threatened in some way that it's going to negatively reflect on their work.
Yeah.
And that's not a good feeling.
No, but still, you got to get over that and just do it.
Yep.
For sure.
So anyways, with that, actually, before we leave, Alan, if they want to get in touch with us, what should they do?
They should write to us, podcast@dudesadads.com, or hit us up on our multiple social media channels, Twitter @dudesadads, Facebook dudesadads.com, and YouTube. Subscribe to that channel and watch some great videos by Jason, the Dad University, and Dudesadads. And please go to iTunes and Stitcher, leave some 5-star reviews, sign up, put a thumbs up, 6 stars reviews, star.
6 out of 5.
Save some stars for later, and then go back and leave some more stars. And then and subscribe to those channels. They really help perpetuate the show, and we'd love to hear feedback from you.
That's awesome. Well, with that, Alan, thank you as always.
Thank you.
And we will see you next time.
See you next time.